What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with Wnba Dfs, here to bring you a WNBA slate breakdown for the 5-game WNBA slate today. It has been a minute. It has been a while since we've had a big slate like this. I honestly cannot recall the last time that we had 5 games on the slate. Normally it's been 4, 3. But man, we got a nice slate today. A lot of injury news to actually go over, and a couple of the games that's going to decide some things for us today. And yeah, today's going to be a pretty decent day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 1-game slate yesterday. I took the day off, did not play it, especially after having a rough Friday. Honestly, my value did not pan out. But if you guys, navigated the slate correctly, you definitely might have had a pretty good day. I will be honest myself, I did not have a good day on Friday. Did not. So looking for a bounce back today. Hopefully we can get into that. If you guys are new here, you guys enjoying the content, you guys enjoying the channel, and you looking for some WNBA content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you guys do not miss any of these breakdowns and things like that of that nature. And hit the like button. Let me know that you guys are enjoying this content. With that being said, let's get right into it. First game on the slate, we got the Washington Mystics taking on the Connecticut Sun. Biggest thing is that Natasha Cloud, she's listed as doubtful right now due to the her ankle injury, and Elena Delle Donne is expected to play. So she's likely to play. Hopefully she does play. Right now they got the projected lineup as Atkins, Sykes, Misha Hines-Allen, EDD, and Tina Hawkins. I will say I'm not too sure about the Misha Hines-Allen being slid into the starting lineup right there, simply because the last time that Cloud missed, which was on June 16th, in that game we saw they went ahead and they started Li Ming. Now, Li Ming, she played 24 minutes in the last game that they just played. So she will get the burn and run. And if they started her before, I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and they start her again here in this exact same spot. Now, they had everybody else that they have now, minus the fact that they got Queen Egbo now, but that's a backup center right there. And if anything, I don't see Misha Hines-Allen starting again. Now, granted, she only played 16 minutes, but she popped off because she was able to get like 4 or 5 steals in that game. In the last game that we just had. So I wouldn't be surprised if Li Ming was to start here. If she was to start, we know the biggest thing for her, she has to knock down her 3-point shot, because that's literally what she's out there to do. She is a 3-point shooter. She is a sniper. And again, just like Friday, we're lucky that this is the first game on the slate. So we should have that news before the game actually even starts. So that's not something that we have to worry too much about, but we do need to know who is going to start and what's going on with that. Going over to the Connecticut Sun, biggest thing is the fact that Carrington is a game time decision, and she's in the gray area right now. Not sure if she's going to play or not, but that was their main backup guard, and she was playing a lot of minutes before recently being out. And without her being out there, we can actually look that last game, because she missed it. This was due to a non-COVID illness. Hopefully she doesn't have the same stomach bug that everyone else has. But with her being out, we've seen Tyisha Harris. She absorbed a pretty good amount of minutes off of the bench, so she played pretty much that Carrington role. And then Leah Brown, she also got to see a boost in her minutes as well, because she really wasn't logging too many minutes at all. That news will definitely be interesting to have, because of course that lets us know maybe we might have some type of value that we could look at. I'd probably look more towards Tyisha Harris right there in this spot, in the event that that Carrington is going to be out again. And then we could possibly look for their starting guards, Tiffany Hayes and at least Heidemann. Heidemann I would expect to have to play some more minutes. Tiffany Hayes, she's of course just been up and down all season. Honestly, I don't think she's played over 30 minutes a game. She played it once going up against the Liberty. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like an overtime. No, that probably wasn't an overtime game. But anyway, that right there, we're definitely going to want to know. They blew the brakes off of the Storm. Alyssa Thomas didn't even play 25 minutes in that game. Neither did Bonner. So we do need to know about this one right here, because that might be some more value that we have on the slate, considering that value is the name of the game. Getting the value right is one of the biggest things that helps us, be able to take down things and stuff on the WNBA. Going over to the Dallas Wings taking on the IND Fever. In this game right here, biggest thing, Kalani Brown, she got a concussion. Apparently she took a ball to the face going 90 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure she was over-exaggerating on that one right there. But same starters like normal for my Wings. And then over here for the Fever, I will tell you right now, if you played Lexi Hall on Friday's slate, you either got a crystal ball, you're a genius, you're something. Because, yes, the minutes and stuff had been there for Lexi. She had been playing decent minutes over her last couple games. I give her that. But go out here and play 37 minutes. Practically played the whole game, playing almost the whole game in this last one. Like, her minutes have been decent. I give her that. Her production, looking at it over here on DraftKings perspective, has not been anything that would have actually put me on, yo, Lexi Hull gonna go out here and she gonna pop off. Nope. Definitely would expect that more from Aaliyah Boston. Would expect that from Nalissa Smith. I wouldn't have been surprised if Kelsey Mitchell popped off. But to get 37 fantasy points from Lexi Hull, you gotta be seeing something that I didn't see on that one. I will admit that was crazy. I'm gonna say that was one of those outlier games. Right here going up again. She's gonna get that Satu matchup. I honestly don't think she can do that again here in this spot. This should definitely be a spot where my girl Satu should be able to pop off and do what she does. Considering that it's pretty much going to be just like going up against the Aces. Satu, she should have the height and strength matchup going up against Lexi either way in this matchup. Going over to the Sparks taking on the Phoenix Mercury. This is some of the later games. Of course, we got a 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 p.m. game. So a little bit spread out, but still not too bad. Biggest thing, and I think that the game plan today is going to really be stacking the Sparks because the Sparks are without a lot of players. They got 8 players right now for the Sparks because everybody is out. Lexi Brown is still out with her stomach bug. I mean, wife says hi again. Clarendon, she's out. Nia Clouden already been ruled out. Cheney, she's out with that foot. And then the biggest thing, Carly is going to be out for this game as well. So they got 8 players. Let's look at the depth chart. All these players: Jasmine Thomas, 1, 2, 3. That for some reason Hamby's listed as a guard. 4, 5, 6. Azara Stevens and NECA. That makes 8. They have 8 players. It'll be an 8-woman rotation. That's definitely something that we will more than likely want to go to. And the biggest thing for that is the fact that they're forwards. They're bigs. That's where we're probably going to really want to look at because all those minutes are going to have to go to Hamby, NECA, and Stevens. Unless they're going to try to play small ball going up against the Phoenix Mercury, which you really kind of can't do that because you got Brittany Griner, Anya Wene, Cunningham, Brianna Turner. They're all pretty decent sized forwards that play for the Phoenix Mercury. So I don't see it being a small ball type thing for the Sparks. Definitely feel like we probably going to want to look at Stevens, Hamby, definitely NECA. We just know the usage and everything that she's going to have on the slate. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on. Not even keep an eye on, just keep in mind when we're building up our lines and stuff like that for the Sparks. And then of course with them taking a hit at the guard position with of course no Lexi, no Clarendon, no Samuelson. Yes, Zaya Cooks and Henderson and Burrell. Those are the 3 guards. Burrell can play some of that 3 position if you want type thing, but I don't know. It's just we got to navigate the waters of the Sparks. That's going to be the biggest thing that we got to pay attention to. Phoenix Mercury, Shea Petty, she's already been ruled out, and then SDS, she's already still been out for a minute. What's her name? Diana Taurasi, she should be back, so Anya Wene should go right back to the bench in this matchup. I don't believe that they're going to start her, but if they start her, I would definitely be going right back to that because I love whenever she starts. She's practically a fantasy point per minute player whenever she's on the court. Coming out here to the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Minnesota Lynx. Aces, same old, same old. The Lynx, same old, nothing new. Shepard, she still has her pregnancy. She still has her sickness that she's dealing with, so we still got that for her. And then going over here to the Atlanta Dream taking on the Chicago Sky, which we just saw the other day. Alicia Gray, she had a pretty good game in that spot. Danielle Robinson, she legit went out there and she did her thing. Danielle Robinson did her thing. She went out there and played the most minutes that we've gotten her to play all season. And of course, was not on her heavy in this spot. Played 33 minutes and legit rewarded everybody with putting up 39.8 fantasy points. Hey, can't be mad at it. Can't be mad at it. I had been chasing the Danielle Robinson game for a minute, and then finally she went ahead and she did it, going up against the Sky. She's in the same spot again now. We've seen this before. Courtney Williams, she did it back-to-back games going up against the same team. Maybe this could be the same spot that Danielle Robinson, she comes out here and does it. She still value playing things like that. Definitely will be looking her way on today's slate. Going in for the Chicago Sky, nothing new to report for them over here. Still looking pretty good in regards to, same old in regards to players being out and everything for them. Same matchup. That is that over there. All right, heading over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on, the site that I have been doing pretty decent on for the season. Be winning that money on. If you guys would like to join me over here on DraftKings, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus. And join me over here on the King, and let's rack up this money. It's a big slate. And I will tell you right now, I am disappointed in DraftKings because it's only 5K to first. Why does Sunday slate got to be a small slate? Why can't Sunday slate be the 10K? Or give us a 15K. It's 5-game slate, and you're giving me 5K to first. On a 2 or 3 game slate, I'm getting 10K to first. Why can't I get the 10K today? All right, it's fine. It's fine. Last time it was a Sunday slate, I came close to winning 5K. Let me see if I can do that again today. Going over to the first game on the slate, talking about the Washington Mystics taking on the Connecticut Sun. We've already talked about this a little bit in the injury report lineups. Lynn Deladon, if she plays today, she's in a pretty good spot going up against the Connecticut Sun. You know that they're going to need her. They're going to want her out there. Before she went down in her last 5 games, she's been scoring over 30-plus fantasy points, sitting at 10-8. I will be very honest with you. Of course, EDD, anytime she's on the slate, you definitely have to consider her for cash games, especially with the limited players that they have. You're missing your starting center, Misha Hines-Allen. You know she's not going to play 20-ish plus minutes a game anyway. And if for some weird reason they want to start Misha Hines-Allen out there with EDD and Sykes, I would imagine that EDD has to slide to the 4. I mean, not to the 4, to the 3. She would be the small forward. That's how I would see it. You're going to go ahead and you're going to get that Dewana Bonner matchup or that Rebecca Allen. Either way, she should be able to do what she wants to do in this spot. I'm pretty sure that they have played. Yeah, they did play early in the season, actually. Let's see. Connecticut Sun. She played 36 minutes and she dropped 43.75 fantasy points on the head in that game. And in the game prior to that, which was a back-to-back, she played 33 minutes and she dropped 40.25 fantasy points in that game on their head. So, with all that being said, of course, EDD, she plays. She's good to go. She says she's not hampered. She's not injured. I got to take her word for it. At 10-8, I'm not going to hate that. Don't mind that. We'll have to consider her. Now, Sykes. We already know that Clouds are going to be out. I wish Sykes was not 10K. I wish we could get that 9K type Sykes right here in the spot. But this lets you decide if you want to actually play Arike, who's going to actually be taking on the Fever, which is in a good spot for her because Arike's sitting at 10-1. Or you're going to want to go ahead and play Brittany Sykes. We know without Cloud being there, she steps up on the scoring department. She does a little bit of everything out there. At 10K, just for the fact of she is technically going to be the guard 1 in this position in the spot, I have to go ahead and consider that and look at it for today. Would I love it if her price was down just a little bit? Yeah, I would have, but unfortunately, it is what it is. We got to take what we get. Atkins, she's sitting at 9-9, so it's like you're really not getting too much of a value with the guards for the Mystics, just simply because they already knew that Cloud was going to not be here. They seen what they just did without Cloud being out there, and I mean the matchup going up against the Connecticut Sun, it's not like it's going to be a cake matchup for them. This should be a close game. And in this game, Ariel Atkins, she did not perform at all. She's put up, 13.75 and 16 fantasy points in the games going up against the Sun early in the season. It should honestly be a little bit of a tougher matchup for Atkins in this position. But 9-9, that's a tough pill to swallow. Tough pill to swallow, considering that she has not been very consistent throughout the season. Yes, over her last 5, she's gone over 30 fantasy points in literally 4 out of the last 5, but that's not going to make me want to jump on her today, especially in a tougher matchup than what it is today. I will feel more comfortable paying the 100 more for Sykes, just because Sykes is Sykes, and Sykes can actually go out here and do a little bit of everything. And let's see, Sykes in the 2 matchups going up against them early in the season, she dropped 16 fantasy points, but then she dropped 33.75 fantasy points, getting 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. So I think the upside is much better for Sykes. The ceiling definitely for Sykes is there over what the floor/ceiling would be for Atkins in this spot. Cloud, she's already going to be out. Tina Hawkins, of course, you know she's going to have to play the center role. She's going to get her minutes. Even with Queen Egbo being here, she's still going to play the starting center. She's still going to get her minutes and burn. If they start Queen over Hawkins, I would be surprised. I honestly really would be surprised. But in her 34 minutes last game, she dropped 25 fantasy points. Looking over her last 5, she's gone over at least 25 fantasy points in 3 out of the last 5. And in the 2 games going up against the Sun early in the season, keep in mind, she was playing off the bench. She was playing behind Austin. She played 11 minutes in one game and gave us 10.5. She played 16 minutes in another game and gave us 17.75. So she was able to put up pretty much a fantasy point per minute in the time that she was out there when she played. Austin is still going to be out. Misha Hines-Allen, they priced her up to 6-1. I wouldn't mess with that just because she's not going to get the minutes. She's not really getting any minutes at all. She went 1 of 7 from the field. If it was not for the fact that she had 4 steals, she would have not practically gotten anything out there. It would have only been 6 points, 1 assist, and 2 rebounds, which would have legit only put her at like 9 point something, like 9.9 fantasy points, in all honesty, if she did not get those steals. Didn't hit none of her threes or anything like that, so a little iffy right there if you want to even mess with that. SWK, she should see some more burn and run, especially without Cloud being there. The only thing with her, she is not a fantasy point per minute producer. She gets the minutes, but it's very iffy what she goes in there and produces. She doesn't assist very well. If she's not scoring, she's not doing too much out there for us. And the game's going up against the against the Sun early in the season. She played 17 minutes and didn't do dilly billy squat. Not really going to look there, especially not at 5'6". I'd rather just come down here and play Mi Ling right here in the spot. Let's see. Playing against the Sun, she played in one game, played 3 minutes, and no stats. Again, like I said, in the game before she left, she played that 27 minutes going up against the Phoenix Mercury. She dropped 17.5 fantasy points. In that last game going up against the Fever, she played 24 minutes. She gave us 11.5 fantasy points, 9 points, 1 steal. Like I said, she's really out there because she is a three-point shooter. If she's not knocking down those threes, she's not doing too much in regards to scoring out there. Sitting at 4'7", that's a do if you will, do if you don't type spot at 4'7". Not too sure if you need to get down there to that. Then, of course, we can go down here and take the GPP option in a Queen Egbo, who only played 15 minutes in the last game, gave us 7.5 fantasy points, racked up 4 fouls. So, I had to saying to someone else inside my chat, I said it's same queen, different team. Pretty much. It is the same queen, just on a different team. She's still going to go out there. She's going to rack up those fouls. She's going to do what she does out there, man. That's going to be it. Another one that we could possibly consider would be Lane Harper. Don't know too much about her. She played 10 minutes in the last game, only gave us 5.25 fantasy points. Probably could see some backup time as at the guard, but of course Walker, she's gonna have that peg above her, so I'm not too sure if we want to go there. Going over here to the Connecticut Suns, we know where it all starts, where it all ends. Well, correction, we know where it starts, begins, and ends with them over here. It's gonna be AT sitting up here at 11-7, playing against the Washington Mystics. You don't have your true starting center. We know that AT is technically playing the center position right now. Going up against them, 37 minutes, she dropped 48.5. 36 minutes, she dropped 47. Not too much needs to be said about AT. Even in 23 minutes, she went out there and dropped 38.75 fantasy points. That's a lot. That's amazing. In 23 minutes, she was scoring. She was getting her assists. She was rebounding. She blocked steals. You name it, AT does it. Looking over her last 5, she's gone over, 35 fantasy points in 4 out of the last 5. And 28 minutes going up against the Minnesota Lynx, who they blew out again. Another blowout game. We could probably scratch that one off. Let's just scratch off that blowout game, and let's look at what she did going up against the Seattle Storm, which was a closer game. Played all 40 minutes. All 40 minutes of that game. Dropped 59.25 fantasy points. I will definitely be considering AT, considering that she's going to have to play. She's done very well in this matchup before, and it's not going to be the same caliber of starting centers out there for her. She should be able to go ahead and take advantage of them like what she has in the past. And if they want to win, everything flows and runs through AT. Her usage is through the roof on this team. And then after Alyssa Thomas, of course, you're going to want to come down here. Wnba Dfs, Tiffany Hayes, Rebecca Allen. We know that they're all going to be the stars. And then my girl Heidemann down here at 5'4". If we feel like Heidemann, let's see what Heidemann. Heidi, in her last game going up against the Washington Mystics, she played 22 minutes and dropped 13 fantasy points, 37 minutes and dropped 22.75. Just looking at her, of course, she's been very up and down in regards to what she's produced and done throughout the season. But I would have to consider her, considering that, they're not without Carrington. Heidemann, she should see maybe some additional minutes and boosts out there. Definitely would be something I would consider on today's slate. Bonner, we know Bonner, she will get up for certain type of games. This will be a game that she should have to get up for. 31 minutes, she dropped 32.25, and then 32 minutes, she dropped 28.75. If you rather go for the value that we have inside the Sparks game, I could definitely understand not going for Bonner here in this spot, but definitely be someone I have to consider on my radar, just because after AT, it is Wnba Dfs. And then depending on what type of Tiffany Hayes game we're going to get, just look at her game logs, man. She just has not been consistent at all throughout the season. First game going up against the Washington Mystics, she dropped 14.25 fantasy points. Second game, 31 minutes and dropped 31.25. So it depends on which one we're going to get, how many minutes she's going to actually get. It definitely makes her a very heavy GPP play. Sitting out there at 6'9", probably rather come down to maybe like a Dangerfield or who else do we have that's, Daniel Robinson or something like that. She's very GPP. It's just because you don't know how many minutes she's going to get and what type of Tiffany Hayes we're going to get on a slate. Like my boy Dion always says, she's legit one injury away from being out for the season. So there's no telling whenever it comes down to her. Now, Rebecca Allen, of course, we know that she slid into the starting lineup, which thus has put AT down to the center position. She played 24 minutes in that first game going up against the Mystics, dropped 17.5 fantasy points. Second game, she only played 14 and gave us 8.5. So she's been very up and down inside that starting role. Last game, she came out hot, on fire, going up against the Storm. So definitely would have to consider her sitting at 6'7". Pretty decent value on the slate. Again, we got value in the Sparks game, considering it's going to be a very tight rotation with the bigs. I would probably rather prioritize that than looking at Rebecca Allen, who is, if she's not knocking out a three-point shot, not getting some steals and blocks, she's not really doing too much for us out there. Odo sitting at 5'7". Really do like the price for her. She's at least getting close to 20 minutes a game going out there, and she's producing in her time out there, practically putting up a fantasy point per minute. And she's not just doing it all on the scoring. She's rebounding very, very well, and at least doing something on her blocks and steals, which is all good things. Now, best thing about her, she put up a fantasy point per minute in this spot last time going up against Washington Mystics. 15 minutes, dropped 15.25. Another one, 15 minutes, she dropped 14.5. So definitely would have to consider Odo in this spot right here. She looks really good, getting those backup minutes at the center position. Should be a pretty decent game. I would still expect her to play some good minutes out there as well. And if she could score, give us a 14-time point scoring game and still go ahead and rebound with the best of them out there, I really do like that for her in the spot. So I will definitely be considering Odo on today's slate. She will make the player pool. Everyone else out here, like I said, Taisha Harris and what was it? Leah Brown, we have to consider them just because Carrington is going to be out. 17 minutes, Leah put up 10.25 fantasy points, and then Taisha Harris, of course, she got the bulk of the minutes. She played 23 and she dropped 20.75 fantasy points. Like I said, we have to consider it just because we're missing a player. She played 20 minutes in that first game going up against the Mystics. Only gave us 7.25, 7 minutes and gave us 7. So she put up a fantasy point per minute in the second one. First one she didn't do all too well. And her boosted minutes going up against the Storm technically did really well, but as you can see, she's very hit or miss in regards to what we're going to get from her. I will definitely maybe take a flyer on her sitting at 4.9, but if I don't feel like we got to get down there, I don't feel like I got to go down there, I probably won't be doing that on today's slate going to her. All right. I kind of feel like I spent way too long on that first game just trying to go through everybody. I'm sorry. I know it's a 5-game slate. I'm going to try to breeze through the rest of this as I can. Going over here to the Dallas Wings, of course, as always, my Wings, looking at them, it starts and ends with Enrique, Satu, and then Natasha Howard. They are the leaders and the charges for this team. Out of everybody, I do like Satu the most just because she's looked very well again in these past couple of games. Besides this last game going up against the Aces, she left it early, but she was still smashing it before she had to leave that game. They did squeak out that win going up against the Aces last time, and she dropped in 31 minutes 34.25 fantasy points. So she didn't play the 36 37 minutes like what we were getting early in the season when she was playing heavy minutes, but she is still playing some pretty decent minutes, at least getting 30 plus minutes a game. And we do know that she has the upside to drop 50 plus fantasy points on anybody's head going out there. So definitely will be in consideration for me once again here today. I do like her, but it's because I feel like she's going to draw that Lexi Hall matchup. She should have the size and the strength advantage going up against her anyway, and any of the guards that they try to put on her. I don't feel like she'll be on Alyssa Smith. That'll be more of Natasha Howard in the spot. That should be her. But Howard, don't hate her as a GPP play. Of course, that's normally my route that I go to whenever I'm considering these the two between Howard and Satu. Howard would be more GPP for me. Satu will be the cash game, and Satu is a little bit cheaper than Howard on today's slate. Enrique, this is the perfect bounce back spot for her taking on the Fever. She should be able to go out here and do what she wants to do going up against them. In this spot, she played 39 minutes in the last game, dropped 31 fantasy points. The scoring is there. We just got to get her back to the assist and rebounding like what she was doing in the prior games. Definitely has taken a dip over the last ones, but this is definitely a spot where we can get that 56 fantasy point type game from Enrique, especially if she tries to get into a shooting match with Kelsey Mitchell. We do know that our defense for the Dallas Wings is not the prettiest. It's not the greatest, but definitely Enrique, she could do that. After that, Tierra McCowan, of course, we do know centers going up against Aaliyah Boston and them. We have been picking on her. We have been playing centers. She's been bumped all the way up to 9-2. Not too sure if I want to go there, especially with the value that we have on the Sparks, but she definitely does have the matchup and should be in consideration because she can go out here. We've seen that they gave her finally 36 minutes. Most minutes she's played since she's been back. They gave her 36 minutes right there. She definitely has a double-double upside. She can get the offensive putbacks. We know Aaliyah Boston could be a little bit shy when it comes to rebounding anyway, and Alyssa Smith will have to come in there and probably get him. But if McCowan can keep herself out of foul trouble, this is also a revenge factor type game for her because she was drafted by the Fever. She definitely has the chance to go off right here going up against them on today's slate. If you don't feel like playing up for Enrique, I could definitely see us coming out here to playing Crystal Dangerfield. She's been pretty steady Freddy. Depends on the matchup and stuff for her. This is a good matchup for her in this spot. She dropped 14 points, 3 steals, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds in that last game going up against the Aces and dropped 34.25 fantasy points. In the first game, she gave us 20.75. I do not hate this spot or price for her here. I definitely feel like she can go out there and she can produce in the time that she's given, especially for the price sitting at 7K. That right there is value on today's slate for her at the guard position. Kalani Brown, we already know that we got to worry about whether or not if she's going to be playing in or out. Everyone else down here, more GPP plays. Maddie, she's not really getting the minutes. Burton, she's been hit or miss on her minutes. Sims, even though they signed her, they brought her back. Her run has legit been single-digit minutes or barely anything out there on the court. So not really someone that I feel like you got to go to. And then a walk, if you feel like it's going to be a blowout, definitely could consider going to her in the spot. Going over for the Fever, Aaliyah Boston. This is going to be a tougher matchup for her going up against Teaira McCowan. Now, she hasn't had a big game. She's only had a big game, 2 out of the last 5 games. One going against the Aces, other one going up against the Lynx. Sitting at 10-2, I'm not going to lie. I would hope that she would be able to go out here and put up a 40-ish plus fantasy point type game, but we have not seen that from her in a little bit. So GPP play, but definitely would be in consideration, especially if they're able to get McCowan in foul trouble. But I definitely feel like this is a spot that, just looking at her logs, PHO Mercury, she didn't play too well, and I would see Brittany Griner as someone like a Teaira McCowan type size player out there for her that she's going up against. Let's see. Again, PHO Mercury, that would be the best matchup that I can give. Maybe the Connecticut Sun whenever they had BG there, I would say that. But, of course, no rebounding, all scoring that she did right there. And then same thing in that first game. Maybe Jonquel Jones in this matchup and Brianna Stewart. More Jonquel Jones this and that one. So, hit or miss. I really feel like the big, strong centers, the centers that are down there, because, of course, we do know Boston, she's not going to take a three-point shot. Maybe she has a little bit of a midi, but mostly it comes with getting to the basket, her finesse, and just getting some putbacks and stuff like that. Very GPP for me today. I might just completely fade her altogether. Nalissa Smith, of course, she's going to have a tough matchup as well, playing up against Howard. She has been, of course, the go-to whenever we don't want to play Aaliyah Boston. Definitely would consider her, but not someone that I feel like you have to have inside your lineups. Not a must, not a have-to play. Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, and Hall. Of course, we do know guards. You can attack them going up against my my Dallas Wings. Whoever's going to play the 2 guard, they kind of technically normally have the better position. Kelsey Mitchell, she is their point guard. So that does leave me with Erica Wheeler as possibly going to be the one that should have a good game, getting that Crystal Dangerfield defense, and should have the size advantage going up against her. Or if you feel like it's going to be Lexi Hall in this spot, you feel like she could repeat what she just went out here and did at 3,700 at 5'9". I do not hate going back to that right there, but of course that's going to be very GPP because I got to see some consistency before I even believe that she can go out there and do that. Wallace, her minutes are starting to fall down again. Don't know why. It's just been up and down with her throughout the season. Vivian's, Cadwell, Zowie B, everyone else down here. The Fever, the minutes are not really there for everybody. There's very hit or miss. If they get hot when they come in, yeah, they're going to go ahead and they're going to run them. If they're not, they really do not even look to the bench like that in regards to who's going to actually go out there and play. It'll really be concentrated on the starters. If you're not coming in and you're not able to knock down your shots, or you're not doing what they want to do on defense, stuff like that, nah, they'll put you right back on the bench for them. Going over here to the Sparks, this one should be straight up very simple and easy. All of these starters are in consideration for the Sparks, especially because they're playing against the PHO Mercury. NECA, of course, is your top tier, considering the fact that it's NECA. She's going to be out there. She's going to play. She's going to do everything out there. She's done pretty well in this spot, going up against the PHO Mercury 2 times already for the season. Yep, we got them both up here. 24 minutes, she dropped 33 fantasy points, and then in 40 minutes, she dropped 46.5 fantasy points. So definitely a spot that we can go ahead and take NECA. Same thing for Canada. We do know guards going up against the PHO Mercury. We have attacked, and we have picked on them all season long. 30 minutes, she dropped 19.75. This game, of course, they had everybody. So Lexi Brown, she played in this game, all that good stuff. Then in this game, 32 minutes, she dropped 32 fantasy points. With her being back, of course, we know she takes back on the point guard duties and everything other under the sun. She only put up 13 minutes in that game when she came back, and 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Definitely will be back into consideration because she can probably snag some steals from Diana Taurasi throwing a crazy behind pass, or Mariah Jefferson. But going to her as well. Azura Stevens and Hamby, both of these players, of course, are in consideration. Like I said, it's going to be a small rotation for the forwards for the Sparks because, of course, you don't have Cheney and you're just missing other players. First game going up against the Sparks, she played 15 minutes. She dropped 14.25 fantasy points. In the second game, she played 22 minutes and she did it again, 14.25. So back-to-back 14.25 fantasy points games. That's actually kind of funny right there. 7-8, she is cheaper than Stevens. So she will probably be more of the cash play just because her minutes have typically been more solidified and safer than playing Stevens. Stevens, like I said, she has finally come on over her last couple games. So that, of course, is why I would be taking heavy considerations for Stevens here in this spot. I do like her once again. The shot, she's finally scoring. She scored double digits in all 3 of her last games, and now watch, she's going to come out here and lay a goose egg on me. But she was not back whenever they played the PHO Mercury. early in the season, so we got to take that into account right there. And then coming out here, it's going to be a coin flip if you want to play Henderson, Zaya, or coming out here to Burrell. I do see them starting Stevens like they have before. So it should definitely be a starting lineup of Canada, Jasmine Thomas, Azura Stevens, Hamby, and NECA. That should be their starting lineup. They've done it before. I don't see any reason why they would change that now going into this matchup. Henderson, Zaya, and Burrell, they're all going to be the backup who's coming off the bench. So, of course, sitting at the 4-8 and the prices down here, can't consider them because they are going to have to play their minutes off the bench. Zaya has been a little bit more consistent than Henderson. Henderson, of course, we know a lot of it relies on if she's knocking down her shot, but she is very hit or miss and very iffy out there. JT, if you want to take a GPP chance on her and think that maybe she can get it going like she did in that one game where she scored 15 fantasy points in 14 minutes, you can consider that, but she has not looked great out there, and I got to see that one before I actually even want to go to that. Going over here to the PHO Mercury, looking at them, DT, she is back, DT. This right here is going to depend on what DT am I going to get. Am I going to get the DT that's going to come out here and play 28 minutes, give me 23 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and drop 41.75 fantasy points? Or am I going to get the DT that's going to play 27 minutes, give me 6 points, 4 turnovers, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds, and give me 11.25 fantasy points? That all depends. Playing against the Sparks early in the season, she went out here, she gave us 30.25 fantasy points in 28 minutes. And then in 33 minutes, she gave us 27.75. So we know that she can go out here and she can do what she does. She's playing at home, which is always a big boost for Diana Taurasi. In her last 3 home games, of course, only one of them, she went over 30 fantasy points barely. But we got to take it into consideration. She is playing at home. We do know if the 3-point shot falls, she's always going to be a great play in my book. Sitting at 8-2 definitely lets you come down off of the bigger price guards in Atkins or Sykes, freaking Arike, all of them definitely would have to be in consideration. Mariah Jefferson, she should still possibly start. Played 18 minutes in the last game, only gave us 11 fantasy points. So definitely just got to figure out whether or not if she's going to start or not. She played 30 minutes going up against the Sparks early in the season, gave us 28 fantasy points. 32 minutes, and she dropped 15.25. She's very hit or miss, but if Diana Taurasi doesn't get it going, we can always go down here to Jefferson, sitting at 7.2, 1K price difference. Will definitely be in the consideration right there for that. But if Wnba, if she starts, I want to play her because she is a very good fantasy point per minute scorer. 32 minutes, she dropped 34.5 fantasy points. Playing against the Sparks early in the season, she played 26 minutes and she gave us 18.5 fantasy points. 27 minutes and she dropped 19.75 fantasy points. I don't care about that earlier. Looking at what she's done more recently, she looks very comfortable out there. The scoring wise, defensive wise, she's very engaged out there. And then if Brittany Griner's not getting the rebounds, Onion, she's going in there and she's gobbling up those rebounds for her. She's definitely doing a lot on that side. So I definitely want to know if she starts. I would love to play her today. But if she's not, definitely is a mid-tier type play. Don't think that she can hurt you because even when she comes off the bench, she's still playing close to 25-ish to 30 minutes out there a game. Brianna Turner, of course, you know, that's my kryptonite. I cannot play her to save my life, and I definitely wouldn't be going back here to her. A player who does not take any field goal attempts and relies a lot on those steals and stuff like that is not a player that I want to play or go to. That being said, playing against the Sparks early in the season, she played 31 minutes and only gave us 12.75 fantasy points. She also played 17 minutes and gave us 5 fantasy points and didn't score not once in either one of those games. That's all I got to say on that. Coming out here, of course, Cunningham, if she gets a shot to fall, she will be a great player. But other than that, she's just been too iffy. She's been injured. She's been losing minutes. She's just not playing very great over her last couple games. We got to see her get back on the wagon, see her knock down some shots, be engaged, and just get it flowing and going. Right now, sitting at 6'5", not worth the price tag that she has on her, so definitely not going to be going there. And then coming out here to Shug, that last game, Shug just... It was great that she was able to get the assist, but she just kept turning it over, couldn't get her shot to fall, and it was painful watching that mess, man. So painful. But you could definitely come out here and consider Shug. Early in the season, she played 26 minutes and dropped 19.75 fantasy points, and then 30 minutes and dropped 24.25. You can't go wrong with Shug, but definitely hit or miss. Not someone I feel you got to go to. You got other value on the slate that you can consider. And then other than that, not too much that we got to worry about over there for them on this slate. Going over to the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Minnesota Lynx. We already know this will probably be a blowout by the third quarter, especially if the Lynx are not able to get anything going offensively outside of Fee. And hopefully Diamond Miller can please, to God, keep her hands to herself and not get ticky-tacky fouls and play more than 8 minutes in the first half. That being said, Asia is Asia. We know she's going to go out here. She's going to do her thing. There's really no matchup that's too tough for her. It all just depends on if they need her to beat Asia. That's always what it comes down to. Do they need her to beat Asia? Playing against them, she only played 25 minutes in this game, 93-62. They didn't need her to beat Asia. She still dropped 35 fantasy points because she gobbled up a whole bunch of rebounds. Again, 94-73. She played 30 minutes in this game. She only gave us 35.25 fantasy points. I say need her to beat Asia because we haven't really had to see that this season. This game going up against the Connecticut Sun, that was a much closer game. Of course, they needed her to beat Asia in this game. She played 29 minutes. She scored 23 points, got 13 rebounds. In those type of games, that's when they need her to do what she does. Of course, playing against my Dallas Wings, she dropped 22 points, 13 rebounds. They needed her to be Asia. She dropped 46.75 fantasy points. I'm not sure if they're going to need her to be Asia in this spot because they got so many offensive weapons that it's really not going to matter too much, for that. I'm not too sure if she'll pay off that price tag. Of course, I'm never going to tell you to fade her because we do know she can come out there and just decide, you know what? I want to go out here and score today. I want to go out here and just do what I do and just drop some bombs on people's heads today. So 11-1, if you get up there, if that's what you get to, I don't mind that. She is a little bit cheaper than Fee, so you definitely do have that going for you. Definitely will take that into consideration. Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, all of them have a really good matchup here in this spot. All of them should be able to go out here and perform. Of course, you know my favorite one is going to be, as always, my girl Jackie. Jackie is Jackie. She goes out there and she does what she do. 30 minutes, she dropped 36.5 fantasy points in that first game. 34 minutes, she dropped 41.5 fantasy points. She's very safe to me, as always. The steal upside is there for her. She can play, make a little bit, get some assists. She will rebound, and she will do the most important thing, and that is score. I love when she goes out there and scores because she's very good at it. 9,800 over here, unless you come down off of the Brittany Sykes and the Ariel Atkins, if you are considering it and looking at that. I'm not too sure if this is going to be a game where we're going to need Chelsea Gray to be Chelsea Gray. First game, she played 26 minutes. She dropped 32.5 fantasy points. Second game, 32 minutes. She dropped 46.25 fantasy points. Correction, I said those backwards. The first game and the second game. It all just depends. Is she going to come out here and she decides, hey, I want to score. I don't want to play make. I'm not going to do that out here today. Maybe this might be a game Candace Parker decides that she wants to go out here and dish the rock, which she's been doing quite a lot lately. I don't hate Chelsea Gray, but I feel like she'd fall more into the GPP category because the scoring typically comes from Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, before it's going to come from Chelsea Gray. It's not really a spot that she has to step up. Kelsey Plum, this is definitely a spot we can go to Kelsey. We do know that if the three-point shot is falling, you know Kelsey Plum is calling. 31 minutes in that first game, she dropped 23.25 fantasy points. And the second game, 25 minutes, she dropped 31 fantasy points. It's all going to depend on if the game's going to be close and if she can go out there and she can drop some dimes and also get the shot to fall. She's been scoring very well over the last couple games. Very, very well. Pretty much over 25 fantasy points in all 5 of her last couple games. I do not hate going to Kelsey Plum here if you want to come down off of a Jackie Young or if you want to come down off of a Chelsea Gray. Sitting here at 8.7, not a bad price. Now, a GPP play that I do feel like you should consider will be my girl, Candace Parker. She can come out here and she could definitely throw it down. 24 minutes, she dropped 30.5 fantasy points in that second game. First game, she played 23 minutes and gave us 19 fantasy points. She's been dishing the rock quite well. She's rebounding as well, and she's been engaged. She's scoring a little bit better over the past couple games, but her defense has been the main staple for her. Of course, I know for sure they're not going to put her on Fee. She's going to be on Dorca, so she will have a chance to definitely get some rebounds out there. Asia should be on Fee. That should definitely be the matchup. Lord have mercy, do not put Candace Parker on Fee. That'll be a bad day. Of course, the blowout queens, as always, you can consider them if you feel like the game is going to blow out. The most stable is going to be, of course, Clark and Stokes. Clark being the better one over Stokes. Stokes, she has to rebound and get blocks in order for her to hit value. Other than that, it's not going to be there for her. Coming out here to the Minnesota Lynx, like we already said, it starts and ends with Fee. This is her team. Fee is Fee. Faye, Kayla McBride, she does not do too good inside of the spot going up against her former team in the Las Vegas Aces. Second time playing against them, 23 minutes, dropped 9.25 fantasy points. And the first time she did not play in the first game. Definitely would be a prop if you're looking for props, I would say check over on Prize Picks. If Prize Picks has her fantasy points or something like that up already, I know that they're playing in Minnesota on today's slate, but still, Kayla McBride definitely has not played too hot going up against her former team at all. She does not. She does not. So definitely something that you can consider. There goes a free play for you guys that play over on Prize Picks. So take that into consideration. But outside of Fee and Diamond Miller, those will be the only two that I really will be considering for this game. Let's see if Diamond played in that game going against the Aces. 21 minutes, she dropped 20.75 fantasy points. She wasn't in foul trouble right here in this game. So I want to actually say this was, no, that wasn't the game she got in. She got injured in this one. But definitely, if she's going to at least go back to hopefully getting her 25 to 30th minutes, I will love to play Diamond Miller. But she just has not. She's got some stupid fouls in that last game going against the Phoenix Mercury, which is a really great spot for her to actually pop off. Of course, stupid fouls, legit stupid ticky-tacky fouls that she should not be getting and that she knows better, that she knows she shouldn't get. But, of course, Diamond Miller in consideration just because she's been playing very well since she came back from injury. I will have her in my player pool. Will not be playing Kayla McBride. Lindsay Allen, can consider her. I'm not really feeling like I have to go to her. 27 minutes she dropped. Nope, 23 minutes, she dropped 16.5 fantasy points. And Jesus Christ, so many games against the Sparks. And in 14 minutes, she dropped 2.75. So this would be a hit or miss spot in regards to if I even want to mess with that. I'm not too sure. The oddball will be Dorka, just because centers going up against the Aces have actually played pretty decent in the spot. She played 29 minutes. She dropped 22.25 fantasy points in that first one. And then she only played 1 minute in the actual first game. So Dorka will be like a GPP type play. I will consider her just because we have seen centers have pretty decent games. Tierra McCowan, she just went out there and she dropped back-to-back double-doubles going up against them. Dorka, I know she's not a double-double machine, but she does have it in her to snag the rebounds and score as well, because she can get a lot of putbacks and things like that. And she does have a decent block upside as well. Everyone else over here for the Lynx, the usage just isn't there for them at all whatsoever. If you guys have made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you guys do not miss anything that I put out on the channel. I do post quite a bit on the community tab. I'm trying to add more shorts to the channel as well. Trying to really get into that stuff. And then, of course, trying to be able to get ready to cover more sports. I would cover Summer League, but you have to be glued to Twitter in order to cover Summer League, and it's crazy. It's way too much at this time. But definitely will be getting prepared for the NFL and college football season, along with the NBA season when it comes back later on in the season. So breakdowns and stuff for that will be coming out. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you guys do not miss any of the content that I'll be dropping. And if you're looking for my plays, my core plays, my player pool, all the other stuff that we have, my boy Whisper just had a pretty big night over there for the UFC. He put out some great bangers out there for cores and for prize pick plays and props. So if you guys missed that, you're missing out. Link for the Patreon is right down there. $10, I promise you. You guys make that back within your first week. All right, let's wrap up this last game. I do apologize. We got 5 hours to the slate locks. Try to do this one right here in 5 minutes because we've already seen this game before. We already know Alicia Gray, Rainey Howard, Cheyenne Parker, Daniel Robinson, Nia Coffey. Starting lineup, boom, bam. Typically where all the usage and stuff is going to be from. Off the bench, we're going to want to look at Billings. Billings has been the more consistent and has been getting some pretty decent run of minutes whenever she's out there. Minutes seem to be trending down right now for Billings, but I will still ride the Billings train just because I know when she actually is going to get her burner run, she will produce in these spots. But they've been riding heavy on my girl Gray, Howard, Parker. Parker actually played some decent minutes going up against the Sky. I will say, in my brain, she's going to bust going out here in this spot. Typically happens whenever we want to jump onto a player like, oh, yeah, they're going to do good. Just like how she did going up against the Washington Mystics. That first game, 23 minutes, dropped 43 fantasy points. That second game, 21 minutes, gave us 14 fantasy points. Would not be surprised if she comes out here and she lays a goose egg. I'm not saying that's what she's going to do. Considering that she pretty much puts up a fantasy point per minute whenever she gets played going up against the Sky anyway. If they let her play their 25 to 27 minutes out here and she's at least able to give us 30-plus fantasy points, I don't mind that at 9-3. But, again, we got the Sparks value on the slate and other fours that we can definitely look to play today. Rainey and Alicia Gray, of course, for me, Alicia Gray would be cash game. Rainey Howard would be GPP just because Alicia Gray is more consistent than Rainey. Just nothing needs to be said about Alicia Gray. The matchup is still there. It's going to be the same. 37 minutes, she dropped 39.25 fantasy points. First time, 27 minutes, she only gave us 18.5. Doesn't matter. Over her last 5, she's gone over 30 fantasy points in her 3 out of the last 5. So, of course, always in consideration for me will be Alicia Gray. She will always be in my player pool. And then Ryan, she's hit or miss in regards to what she's going to go out there and do. Very GPP-ish out there at 9.5. Again, we got other guards that we could pay to, but if you're feeling like this is going to be a Ryan Howard, yo, she's popping off game, definitely go there. Danielle Robinson. If you're going to tell me that her minutes are finally going up, she's finally learned to keep her hands to herself, she can still go out there and score, rebound, and drop us some assists, I like that. Even at 6'9", I like this price for her because this is a spot that she legit could do some damage. She could do it again. She can legit repeat. My only issue and problem and question that I have is if she's going to get these minutes. It's just, that's the thing that scares me about it. But you can't be scared in the DFS aspect in the DFS world. I have to go ahead and consider her. Of course, sitting at 6'9", I would love it if she was back in that 5K price range. But considering that she did just go out here and drop 30+ fantasy points on their heads, I do like her here in the spot. Nia Coffee, depending on what kind of coffee we drink in a day, she's still pretty much been producing close to 20-ish fantasy points going out there. At this point, we got to go ahead and consider her. She's been very consistent over her last 5. Do not be mad at me if she goes out here and she drops a dud. Understand that now. I will let you guys know that right now. Do not be mad at me if she goes out there and drops a dud. Not telling you you have to play Nia Coffee. There's other value on the slate, but consider Nia Coffee because she's not a bad play right here in the spot. She did just go out there and drop 19+ fantasy points on them in that last game. Everyone else down here, they're the bench warmers, the bench players, blowout queens. Not really something that we got to look at. Over here for the Sky, Courtney Williams, after that outrageous price tag, I even said it. I'm not paying no 10-1 for Courtney Williams considering that this is not her. This has not been her. Playing in this game, though, she might be able to bounce back and redeem herself sitting at 9.4. Do not hate that price tag at all. GPP play 100% because I'd rather come down here to my girl Marbury and my girl Copper. Marbury, she's playing at home. We know how she plays at home. 33 minutes, she dropped 26.5 fantasy points. If she's able to get, besides, I don't have any problem with her scoring, but the assist, playmaking, and maybe some steals, that's what I need to see Marbury get going. I would love to see that better from her. Sitting at 8-9, I do not hate that for her, but Copper would be the one that I would go to because they need Copper to have a very good game for them to win. She played 34 minutes and dropped 27.5 fantasy points. It's not bad for Copper out there. I want to see more, get that 40+ fantasy point game that I know she has in her. But definitely GPP play. Marbury would have to be the cash game because she is doesn't have to rely all on just her scoring. And then Elena Smith, I like her. I like playing her, but she just picks up stupid fouls and then ends up riding the bench for way too long, and then they put her back in when it's too late. It's ridiculous. I do like her here because she does have the matchup. She could definitely go out here and possibly have a pretty good game. First game going up against them, she played 21 minutes and only gave us 14.5 fantasy points. I still feel like she could go out here and have a decent game because she has the block upside. She has the rebounding and the scoring upside. She just has to keep her hands to herself and actually be able to do it. That's the biggest thing with her. Elizabeth Williams, if you want to go here, back-to-back really great games, and then she kind of gave us back to her floor. I could definitely see if they're going to run her 30+ minutes out there, I have no great complaint about Elizabeth Williams. She's going to be today's Tierra McCowan sitting around that 8K price range. I do like that for her. Definitely is a spot we've seen centers be able to give Cheyenne Parker some pretty big troubles out there anyway. And then if she can go ahead and get her into foul trouble, and if they're going to really run her 30+ minutes a game, the block upside is definitely going to be there for Elizabeth Williams. She can definitely do that. I do like that for her. Not a bad price tag. I don't hate that for her at all. If you feel like the guards, the starters, they're going to be struggling. My girl Dana, she's finally come back down into the 5K price range. GPP play just because we do know she has to get her scoring going in order for her to actually put up a pretty big game. But that's really going to be it for her. All right, guys, that is the breakdown. Very, very long breakdown. I do apologize. I really do hate when these things go pretty long, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you guys are wondering what is my game plan, how am I looking at the slate, I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, the Sparks. I harped on it a lot as I went through every single team. The Sparks, the Sparks, the Sparks. I have to figure out which plays from the Sparks I want to play specifically because 8-woman rotation, unless they win and they sign someone off of a hardship or something like that, it is an 8-woman rotation. That is where all the usage and everything is going to be. Even if it blows out, they are still going to play. To me, the safest one is going to be Stevens. Stevens is going to play minutes even if that game blows out because they will normally pull NECA. They might pull Hamby. They might let Hamby. Hamby and Stevens are going to play the minutes pretty much. Canada, she'll play some decent minutes, but of course when you have Henderson and God, I cannot remember the other guard's name right now off the top of my daggone head, but when you have Henderson and you got Zaya out there, you kind of don't have to play Canada all those minutes if the game blows out, so you could definitely take her out. But this is the Phoenix Mercury that we're talking about. They don't blow out anybody, so this game should be close either way. Stevens and Hamby, they're going to get their minutes. They're going to either A, sub in for each other if it's going to be a rotation like that. They might play a little bit of small ball. Nneka, she might get a break. She might not get a break. She might actually play the whole game. It's one of those times where we are going to see probably about 35 to 40-ish minutes for some of these starters right here in this game, specifically on the Sparks side. That's why I've harped so much on the Sparks, because that is where we got to look to target. Outside of that, looking at the other games, just trying to figure out who's going to be in the higher total games. I expect the Washington Mystics and Connecticut Sun game to be pretty close. I'm heavily considering playing Alyssa Thomas today just because of the usage and everything that she has. That is going to be there for her. The Washington is on the road. They do play a little shaky on the road, so the game should definitely stay close and in favor of the Sun. Dallas Wings taking on the Fever. Of course, I already talked about it. Saw 2. I do like her matchup. I like the spot that she's in. I really feel like I will have to consider her. And then on the other side, as much as I want to play Enrique, I feel like this could be an Enrique game. I really, really do. I really do. Dangerfield is sitting right there, and she's pretty consistent herself. And this is a good matchup for guards for her as well on the other side. If I can't get up to Enrique, and maybe if I want to play Satu instead. So that's the consideration right there. The Phoenix Mercury, I still haven't really decided if I want to mess with DT. Brittany Griner, as much as I look at her, I'm not too sure if I want to even touch that right there. Anya Wnba, like I said, if she starts, I do have a lot of interest in that. For the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Minnesota Lynx, it's really just Fee and Diamond Miller for me on that game. Not too much that I'm looking to from that. And then the Dream and the Sky, that one's to be determined for me on that one. All right, that's going to be a breakdown. If you guys want to see my core, my play pools, and everything else that I'm going to put up on the site, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon. With that being said, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. It's your boy Zoe. See you guys in the green.